Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to today's episode on True Talk with DJ Nero. And today I have with me two amazing guests. I'll let you do the introduction yourself, and I'll let you decide who will go first.
Okay. My name is Victoria Balogun. I'm a mother of three.
Okay.
2 boys and a girl.
Beautiful.
Great. Thank you for inviting me over, DJ Nero. My name is Bola James, and I am DJ Nero's brother.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Again, I've got a fantastic topic for you guys, and the topic is how we tend to manage our kids, our children, and putting into consideration, the situation at hand, and in terms of the unruly behavior or acts from people that we tend to leave our kids with. Most of the time, we tend to leave them with our relatives, families, friends, and at times even non-relatives. But without considering, a lot of risk that might be attached to you doing that. So now, I'm thinking I would like to hear your views around how do you think things like this can be managed in terms of who can we leave our kids with? What are the things we need to look out for before actually leaving our kids? Because again, we need our time to do a lot of things. We do work, we have our business, we have our day-to-day activities that we need to attend to. So while we're doing that, we need somewhere to possibly leave our kids that we can trust and protect them. So putting all of this into context, I would like to hear your views around who would you think is ideal. It's from your opinion at the end of the day, because what you're saying, we're not saying that's how it should be done, because some people will see it from a different angle. So our view at the end of the day, it's all based on our own views, our personal opinions, without any prejudice. So guys, I would let you decide who would go first.
I'll go first, Victoria. Is that right?
All right, that's fine.
Okay. So, thank you again, Nero,
Thanks for coming.
this. I think it's a beautiful topic. My initial thoughts on this is that children are supposed to be, children/young kids or young people are supposed to be cared for, are supposed to be loved, and are supposed to be protected by responsible adults, right? Responsible adults or responsible adults. Now, the key word in that previous statement is responsible adult. What is the definition of a responsible adult? I would pride myself to be a responsible adult. So will yourself, and so will Nero now, and so will everybody on the streets. There is no sign on people's heads to differentiate, what you've got on your mind and what I've got on my mind, right? So that then brings me to the next thing, which is, I know things are done slightly differently in the new generation and how things are done now, new school people. But in the times of our parents, how did our parents raise us? During our time, when I was growing, I'm not trying to give anything away about my age, but when we were growing, we didn't have hidden securities and cameras in the house. Our parents couldn't put that in, they couldn't install that. So how were they able to raise and be safe with the family members that they left us with? That was the first question I asked myself, and my response was, it's parental instincts, parental instincts, initial risk assessment. I think that every parent, every responsible adult, have got that parental instinct instilled in them. I've got 2 beautiful children, and I can tell you that it naturally resonates with you. When you feel that they're going to be in an endangered situation, it naturally comes. So that's the first bit that I'll talk about, which is following your gut's natural parental instincts. If I'll give an example. We have kids around that age where they want to go for sleepovers, for example. I'm not saying that I will not allow my children go and have sleepovers, because we also need to realize that children need to be around other people for their development. For their developmental stage, they need to interact with other people outside of your immediate whatever. But the question is, how are you able to trust those external or third-party people that you want to put your kids in their care? So what I tend to think about, my best approach would be initial risk assessment. By risk assessment, I don't mean surveys or questionnaires or anything. No. My child is coming to your house for sleepover, for example, and I come to your house and I see your partner doing drugs behind the house, or I can smell cannabis coming from. I'm not disrespecting people that smoke cannabis, but I don't want my child in that sort of environment. So that instantly is a no-no for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some red flags that you will pick up as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So those are my initial thoughts on the topic.
But again, some parents, I see what you're saying, because obviously you're saying here you will be able to assess the parents based on what they do or what they say or what you see around them.
And also your instincts.
Your instinct.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to understand from people, I'm trying to see it from an angle where you don't have an instinct to perceive things like that. Some parents can go extra miles to pretend and make things look, because they want for example, if they really want their kids to associate with yours.
Or to be happy.
They'll rather keep it. Whatever they're doing, the bad base, they'll keep that away from you.
Yep.
But I know what you're saying, so that's why I think that might require a bit of a, this is not my opinion, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah. I mean, which then leads me to my next line of thought.
Seriously, we parents are guardians, and you can only do your bits, and God will take care of the rest. So moving forward from there, if I'm going to pick it up from the aspect of trusting adults with your kids, I wouldn't say so much of instinct does a lot, but a lot of personal inbuilt growth with a child. That starts with relationship, starts with how well you yourself as a parent understand the personality of your child. Okay. Now, some childs are kids that they keep to themselves, they are reserved. Doesn't mean that they are secretive or they don't want to share their opinion. Some child just like to be on their own, not that they feel like an introvert, but probably they are just
love their space.
They just love their space. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So for such kids, how do you penetrate them? And they might even have that trait from birth. I mean, from very young age.
You've made a very valid comment, Victoria.
Yeah.
And that was what I was sort of alluding to in my previous comment, which is, I think what you're trying to say is relationship with our children.
Exactly.
So we need to, after the whole instinctual thing, the next thing we also need to be quite keen on is our relationship with our kids and communication with our children.
Communication.
I feel like as parents, as guardians, a lot of us are not good communicators.
Or not doing enough.
It's because of how we were raised. Okay. So because of how we were raised, we're sort of replicating that type of methodology on our children.
Well,
right?
maybe not.
Trust me.
So we need to up our game.
So we need to sort of, I wouldn't even say review the way we raised, the way we raised these kids.
Yeah, right.
So I'm guilty as well. I'm very guilty of this. Most of the time you're a function of how you were raised. You're a function of how your parents raised you. And, it's the things you hear. That's what you know. The things you hear, the things you see. Those are things that form you. So I think that new school parents, which is us here, we need to. The old school way of doing things works, but I just think that we just need to sort of revise it a little bit and sort of innovative, infuse more conversations with our children. Yeah. When I say conversation, I mean conversations up onto things like, I heard somebody, I was reading online the other day, somebody was saying something about telling your little ones from like a very young age to know the different parts of their body.
Sure, right? That's sex education.
Sex education. I mean, the topic today is not just about sexual violation.
Oh, yeah.
There's mental abuse, there's physical abuse. So, understanding your child is quite keen as well.
Very important.
There are children, you said something earlier, that are quite introverted. They don't speak up, and that's their nature. Absolutely, I believe that. But no matter how introverted your child is, you know your child. You know that child.
Yeah.
And the minute something is not right with that child, no matter how introverted they are, you will know.
Oh, yeah. True.
Right? But how do you know?
Okay.
The only way you know is because you sort of built that relationship with them, and you spend a lot of time with. I think a lot of us are busy chasing, and it's normal. We live in a very busy world. We're working round the clock.
Yeah.
And we're spending less and less time with our children, and I think it's to our disadvantage, in my opinion. So I think it's a very beautiful topic that you've brought on board, and I think viewers will, pick a lot from this.
Yeah, but my own view of this, right, is more of the fact that, let's put it in acronym, parents are guidance.
Mm-hmm.
You can only do the little you can. And everybody has their ways of training their kids or grooming their kids. So there are some circumstances that even when you feel your instinct or your guts are right, you might be totally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So I won't categorically say that instinct or guts does a lot as much as how the child in question is being raised.
Mm-hmm.
Starts from the fact that how well do you expose your child? What kind of exposure do they get? Whether from environment, from school, or from individuals. What kind of respect, inbuilt respect do they have? And personality speaks volume. They said character is like smoke.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot hide it.
You can hide that, yeah.
It will one way or the other speak. So I would say grooming a child takes a lot of sacrifice, takes a lot of dedication, takes a lot of research. As parents, we need to keep researching. What are your kids watching online? What are they feeding their eyes with? And in this jet age, the internet is whacked.
It's everything.
A lot of corrupt things out there.
Yeah.
So I would advise, in my own opinion, please, most parents need to take time to check what their kids are doing part time.
To start with.
Yes, to start with. And then also put in prayers. Some people may say prayers. Yes, it seems odd. Prayers does a lot, in my own opinion. I have a daughter and I raised her so well. I wouldn't say completely well. God is just by God's grace. But I brought her and groomed her to the level of confidence. When a child is confident, it will take extreme violence for her to be violated. And then secondly, when do we start giving our kids sex education? That's also important. We are, especially from the African world, we always overrule the aspect of that sex education because we feel it's
you don't
so
feel
corrupt.
too comfortable.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for you to sit your child down to have a conversation around sex.
I kind of feel it's because of the way we are being brought up.
Oh yes,
Like you said earlier on.
Exactly. That's
You
what
know,
it is.
but exposure has helped us. We in the jet age, it has helped us to understand that you need to speak up. You need to understand your kid's body language, as you said, and also you also need to know what to pick points. Like my daughter, when she was about 3 years, I noticed the way she was sitting. She sits inappropriate. Somebody may say, she's just growing, she's a kid. But no. I mean, from that age, I picked up, my girl, you need to sit up. You need to have good posture. You don't sit and open your laps. Yeah, because even if you keep her in front of a brother or a cousin, number one, how she
position herself,
and how she could attract anything. The devil is moving everywhere, you know, and the mind is too busy. You can't say what could go on in the mind of a female or a male per time. You understand? So I believe we need to work more on understanding our kids, speaking to them, communicating with them, body language, but most importantly, as I said, try as much as possible, make your kids free with you. The confidence starts from you. They need to fight it. They need to be bold. So they can face the outer world and be able to say, my name is this. Yes. No, you don't tell me that. Exactly. No, I know who I am. Let them know who they are. You're beautiful. Whether she has scars, whether she has grooms. Like my daughter had an accident. Sorry to put this. She had an accident at 1 year. And the accident actually bruised one side of her face. Even with the surgery and all, the bruise is still there. So growing up, she gets to have friends like bullying her. Like,
asking
what
questions.
Is it on your face? Wow. I actually had to sit her down and said, you had an accident, right? But does it define your personality? You're beautiful. And most of the time, whenever she makes a new hair, I make her stand in front of the mirror. And I ask her, I say, what is your name? My name is Frentola. Who are you? I am beautiful. I am bold.
So you're
nice. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there. So you build a confidence around just to give her that, that's confidence in herself.
Yes.
So wherever she goes, she will be able to speak.
No, not only because you need to tell them, but you need to also make sure that they authorize it. It comes out of their voice. So it sinks in their brain to let them know that, no, I cannot be let down. I cannot be a failure. If your child fails in school, it's not a reason for you to bring that child and bring it down. Let that child know that, yes, you failed, But do you know you can pass?
I take what you're saying, and with going by everything you've said, that would help in terms of growing a child.
Yes.
Building their confidence is key.
Yeah.
And that's what we should all be doing. Not necessarily, but that's our own opinion. But putting our topic into context, we are now talking about what are the things that can put into consideration before you think it's okay or it's you're good to leave your child with someone. So now I get what you're saying, because firstly you need to build their confidence, so that way if anything goes wrong they can deal with the situation. Not 100%, but again, they can still confide in you, and because you have that relationship with them, which is key. But we as a parent, what are the things we should be looking out for before we can leave our child with our relatives, friends, or even non-relatives?
I'll interject. So I think that question,
just to bring us back to
bring it back to context.
Yeah.
So I think that the question you've just asked, majority of the answers lie within what she said.
Because
earlier.
You've covered a lot.
Covered a lot of stuff. But I also think that a lot of stuff that we're saying, we're sort of bouncing ideas off the same page, but we're just expressing it in different ways. I think the summary of it is that communication / relationship with a child or a younger person is extremely important. Yeah. And that's communication and what's the next word? And relationship that we have with that child, it covers so many other areas. So communication, relationship that we keep covers the aspect of building the confidence in that child. Because you're speaking to that child, you're communicating with that child every day. Building trust
in your child,
in our younger people. We're building trust and confidence in them, where they're comfortable enough to come and tell us when there's an issue. So an average child knows when something is not right. But most people that have been, violated in the past, they don't talk.
That's the problem.
Fear.
They really don't know what they will do.
Exactly.
From.
Right. So those are the sort of things that we as parents or we as guardians need to sort of instill in this younger people. And when I say younger people, I'm not even talking 2-3-year-olds. Even, I said to you earlier, I've got a teenager, I've got 2 teenagers. Even in those teenagers, you'll be so amazed that things will happen to them because of their level of exposure these days. There's internet, there's so many things they're learning. Kids are so smart. I listen to my kids speak at times, and I have to I go into the room and research some of the things they're saying, because they're way advanced.
Too advanced.
So I just think as parents, as guardians, we need to sort of, bring ourselves to terms with this younger generation and make this younger generation realize. I mean, I'm not an advocate for we are friends or whatever, but we are at par. We're at par. We're not friends. We're at par. Be comfortable enough to be able to come and discuss anything with me.
Whatever.
So a lot of us like the idea of our children, our young ones, coming to confide in us. But do we do the work
to accommodate,
to enable them to come to us?
That's the right question. That's the right question.
And I think that's what, as parents and guardians, viewers, I think that we need to sort of work on. There is no bespoke rule to every family. Your child is different from her child, different from my child. Every child have their ways of doing things. As parents, as guardians, we just need to watch and then sort of devise what we think works. There will be standards across that could work across the board. But there are some kids that are just not. You as parents and guardians have just got to sort of devise that means and ways of working with those younger people.
But for me, in my view, to add to what you just said, I feel the topic in regards to keeping our kids in care of somebody, an adult, I would also say it goes a long way in you analyzing the opportunities that we have with technology now. Okay, we have cameras, all right, and it's been in existence for years, I guess, maybe more than 10 years.
Having the hidden cameras in the house.
Hidden cameras. And I have one thing my husband keeps saying: trust but verify. So what does that mean? It means that I could trust my sister, but it doesn't mean that I can't take an extra means to verify. She could say she fed my child, maybe a minder, or even my mom says she fed my child. What will it cost me to have a camera at home to check if at all the child was well fed, whether my child is sleeping. It doesn't overrule the fact that I love my parents or I love my sister or I trust her.
That's true.
But because we women are naturally multitasking, I have 3 kids. I keep my kids with my husband. I have a camera device on my phone where I can watch my daughter in a room or in the parlor or in the toilet. Now, there's a routine that I believe every parent should have while grooming your child. It helps part-time, even when something wrong might want to go wrong.
But there
if
are
it's in your
times,
head.
this is the security system you have, in your own disposal, in your own, But again, without us disclosing too much on the national TV or on the internet.
A lot of us as well, I think we tend to spend a lot of time chasing career and chasing, finances and all this stuff. Not saying those things are not important. They are quite important. But we've just got to be quite, got to be informed and intentional, like you said.
Yeah.
With the things that we do. By intentional, I mean, we do all this intensive work that you finish by 5, 6, your brain is maxed out.
Yeah.
And you just want you just want to be left alone. You leave your kids on their tablet to
You just
do
wanna
whatever. You don't even know what they're doing. Because you've gone to you've been in meetings the whole day. The brain is tired.
You want
Yeah.
just need your.
And how many parents takes the time to configure their kids' tablets to what they watch? Like for me, I have kids that they have tablets, but I have parental configuration on the tablets that they can't go beyond what I want them to watch.
Oh yeah.
You understand? So how many parents do that? How many parents restrict their kids from when they are watching some views on the TV and tell them to leave the sitting room? How many parents do some things secludedly? I mean, as much as it's good to kiss your spouse, right? There's certain things you shouldn't do in the front of a growing child.
That's arguable.
Do you understand?
That's arguable as well.
Well,
because your definition of spending quality time with your partner, it's something that kids should learn from us as well.
Because some people find it convenient and just like tell the child that leave this place. Can't you see that daddy is here with me or something? Do you understand?
You really can't deal
I'm
with them that
telling
way.
you.
You need to there are much better way to communicate.
Exactly, but some people have gotten so confident with their partners that they forget that they are just kids. Their brain are so. That's why sometimes when we're growing up, you notice that our parents, even for those living in one room, they will wait till when it's late at night before something happens. It's still a way because what they see.
It sticks in their mind. Yeah.
Like there's something on I read online that for kids, what they see during the day only starts making effect at night when they're sleeping. So it starts reassessing in their brain. So by the time they wake up, that's what makes kids fast in assimilating and passing the message. You notice that you said something to a child yesterday, and like maybe in less than 24 hours, they can repeat it to you. They tell you, "Oh, daddy, you said this, blah 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 blah," and it's so accurate. I mean, word to words. Certain things read up in their brain more than we, because we have so many things cooked up in us.
So the brain is quite.
But whatever you throw at them, they bring it back. So you have to be careful of what you deposit into your kids. Now, let me just round up. Going to parents or going to guidance, going to relationship, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
I would say in some aspects, we parents are guilty. Because sometimes we tend to ignore. It's like dating a guy and you know the guy is so wrong, is a no for you, and you're still sitting there for your lady. So if you have a body language... Are
you talking about a lady that already have a child?
I'm talking about a lady that has a child. So you take your child to probably a stepdad, all right? And you have a job to do. But you know the kind of stepdad he is. Maybe he's a nonchalant person.
You're just taking unnecessary risk.
He's a nonchalant person. He might not, disrespect the child in a wrong way, but it's possible that he might be nonchalant with the child in terms of security.
And the child will get
so
abused
why
by
take your child there? So certain things that we ignore, we see signs. Some things that happen that becomes terror overnight don't just happen overnight.
Right. This is
the signs
it's a process.
Are there, but we ignore.
A lot of those things, I would say. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go on.
A lot of those things, in my opinion, they are emotional intelligence and intelligence being an adult. So there are certain sort of intelligence that we pick up. They're not theoretical. They're not things you read from books.
Yeah.
They're just things that are, they should naturally
Be there.
up in the subconscious. You've given a very good example. If I have a child or I have a child and I have a new relationship, there is no way I'm going to have a new relationship and I want to bring I would have to assess this. I mean, there's so many different ways to look at this. So I think we've covered majority.
We did already, because again, going by what you've said, Victoria, obviously risk awareness. We need to be aware of our environment. We need to be aware of people we leave our kids with. Yeah. If you know that there is a risk attached to this person, then try as much as possible not to stay off. Because it's not worth the risk, to be honest. Because you considering a lady that have a child and obviously needs to move on with her life, and then she's with a new guy, and you already know you're not too comfortable with this person. There are so many things that he's done in the past, or she's done in the past, that you think, this person is just not right.
Exactly.
So you need to just stay away. And going by what you've said as well, communication. Likewise, you said the same. Communication, creating time for your kids, just to make sure that they're comfortable with you, and that way there won't be much to worry about when it comes to because already you've said it as well. Try to verify people. You know them. Again, it doesn't mean you can't still verify. Yeah. You can verify them, and it doesn't mean verifying them. Some people might see that or think it's disrespectful for you to do that, but it's not. There's no disrespect attached to that. It's just you doing what you think is right for your kids, because they need to be protected.
Yeah.
And you as a parent, you have the responsibility. You need. That's your responsibility as a parent. It's not just being called a dad or a mom. These are the things we need to do to protect them, to guide them, and to be able to groom them properly.
Yeah.
But overall, we've done really well, and I believe our audience must have picked a lot of information from what we've said.
Yeah.
Going forward, again, this is our own opinion. This is what we feel is right. It doesn't mean it's right for everyone out there. There's so many people that will disagree to what we're saying, and it's not to impose anything we've said on anyone. If you don't like to verify, that's fine. If you prefer to verify, it's all good.
Okay.
But again, that's our view. We've done really well. Big Bro.
I'm tempted to say that the topic is such a beautiful topic that it probably deserves a part 2.
I was about to say, if we really want to go deep into this topic, we'll be here for hours.
Yeah.
And again, we can't unleash everything like that. Again, we need to consider our audience time.
Yeah.
We need to give them the key points. These are the things they really want to see. But again, I believe the topic is really broad, and we could sit here for hours, for a whole day, talking about it, because it's a big task for parents. But overall, we've done really good. And you've done well as well, Victoria. Thanks very much.
Thanks for hosting us.
Oh man, come on! You know that. I'm here anytime. And True Talk is for all of us.
Oh yeah.
It's been designed to accommodate everyone. We need everyone's opinion. Yeah. And going back to the guys already subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing.
Thank you.
And again, to the ones that haven't, please feel free to jump on, subscribe, share, like it, leave comments. That's key to us, because that's the way we can communicate with you. Let us know what you're thinking, and then that would help us to improve in what we're doing. Again, Big Bro, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate, respect. Your contribution to the True Talk has been the love has been so overwhelming. Likewise yourself.
Thank you.
Everyone has been so supportive. Big shout out to my main man behind the camera as well, D-Man, D-Moche. Thank you very much for coming as well. Appreciate you. Love you, bro. Again, guys, thank you. Thank you for coming. It's been really nice, having you around. You've made valid, important points to this topic. And thanks for supporting True Talk. Thank you for listening, guys. Appreciate you all. Speak to you guys soon. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.